Broadcasting through the depths of outer space.
Hello, I'm alive. I don't know what's going on.
By your command. Fascinating.
God damn you all to hell!
This is a Solo Sci-Fi Podcast. Yeah.
Right. Personality, I summon thee, personality. And then on this week's show, we're going to be talking about, I said, the Hulk, the TV series. And I'm balls and all that. But on tonight's show, we have Coquelud from Portsmouth.
Hello.
Tom from New York. And me from London.
Tom is from New Jersey. New Jersey.
Oh, for God's
Always
sake.
say that. Even I know that now.
I feel honored to join you guys. You can identify by my general time zone. That's fine.
That's fine. You're
Right,
somewhere.
well, I'll start again.
Over there.
I'll start again. Hello and welcome to tonight's podcast. And live from New York is Tom.
New Jersey.
And live from New Jersey. So New Jersey, right?
I'm keeping
And
this all
live
in. This is all being kept in. This is too
And
funny.
live from Manchester is Coquelud and.
All right, there. Our ferry across the Mersey. Oh no, that's Liverpool. Where are you then, Martin? What part of the world are you in?
I'm in London, the capital.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something like Edinburgh or something, just to sort of throw us all off.
Bradford.
Bradford. Oh yes, I've been to Bradford. I wasn't very impressed with Bradford. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, it's a bit smelly up there where I went to. So but there we go. How are you doing, guys?
I'm great.
Good. Sorry we missed last week. There was just a few things going on, and of course it doesn't always work out. So sorry for that last week.
Yeah, same for me. A lot of family stuff going on, and I've sort of come to terms with it now.
And also, I think things are starting to get a bit busier for at least in the UK. There's a bit more freedom now to do stuff, which is good. But we'll still be trying to podcast when we can once a week normally. But of course, we've all got our own commitments, so it doesn't always work out. So
I know it's great. We can go in the park and talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. That's very exciting, isn't it?
Our idiot Prime Minister turned around and said we're calling it Freedom Day.
Freedom.
The Day of Freedom, Liberation. Well, I can sit on a park bench and go, hello.
Do you have to go, hello? It's like freedom. It's like Braveheart when he goes, freedom! And then he dies at the end, doesn't he? So there we go. Spoilers. Right, Tom, what's happening with you?
Oh man, it's actually getting beautiful here in the U.S. Very good temperatures. Able to do things outside. Get on my bicycle and playing tennis. I'm just kind of, I feel like the entire country's just looking out the window like kids that just want to run around outside like maniacs.
Yeah, and our clocks have just gone forward in the UK, so we're now back in sync to the usual time, and it's light until later in the evening. We love it. So I really love this time of year, and I'm going to try and do whatever we can, given the nature of what's going on. Shall we go into the news, guys?
All right, let's enthusiastic. Come on. God,
I'm enthusiastic.
Shall we go to the news?
Do you know what? I'm trying, because we've got this limited recording time. That's why I'm trying to slightly expedite our discussion so that we can get it all fitted in time.
Working. Solar Sci-Fi
News.
Right. So let me start with the news. I know that you two have got your own news items, which you talked to me about before.
Yes.
I want to talk about as you've probably both heard about the Star Trek Voyager documentary. Now they wanted to get $150,000 for this doc. That's what they needed, but of course they've got these stretch goals. I'm looking at it now. I'm just doing a refresh. It's gone a little bit higher than their actual goal, shall we say. Here we are. Currently, it is now $1,187,481. It's made with, and it's now apparently it's beaten the record for the most funded documentary campaign ever. The previous was $1,126,000. So it has smashed all the barriers. It is fantastic. It's a huge success, and it shows that there's still a lot of appetite out there from people for Star Trek Voyager, and in my opinion, rightfully so, because I love it.
Yes.
So So I look forward to that. If it's anything like the Deep Space Nine one a couple of years ago, actually it might have only been last year, it'll be fantastic. It's done by the same people. If it's like What You Leave Behind, which I've seen a couple of times now, it's brilliant. So excellent.
So what would you guys say if the next season of Picard kind of dovetailed with Voyager? Like, what would you think of that kind of plot concept?
I think it'd be good.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's how they do it, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's how they do it. I mean, of course, we've already had 7 of 9 appearing, but we still really want to hear what happened to the Marquis element of Voyager when they got back to Earth. Of course,
We did. They got devastated by the Dominion.
No, but the Marquis on Voyager, not the ones in the Dominion War.
The Marquis.
Yeah, because of course they got back to Earth, and it's a bit of a rushed ending. That's one of my only issues with the last episode.
We sort of forgot about them, though.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously Chakotay, B'Elanna.
Didn't
Yeah, they've still got half a crew of Marquis
yeah, but
rebels.
they just disappeared into the background. We never heard from them again. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of. The thing is, what I'm saying is, they were still had ramifications as ex-Marquis, and of course, when they went back to the Alpha Quadrant in the last episode, what happened to them? Of course, they might have been considered heroes with the Federation crew, but it wasn't one crew. It was, mixed together. So
I think the Federation would have had much bigger things than putting them in court. After being stuck in Delta Quadrant for 7 years and surviving an interstellar war, I don't think they're going to be thinking about
You never
that.
know. That's a great question. You never know. That is.
True, it is a good question. Yeah,
I
It
think
is an interesting question. Like, I guess there's the concept of what would that be like for all of them? Coming back after being away for 7
But
years.
as you said, Tom, Picard has the opportunity to follow up that storyline, which I would love to see. I doubt that they'll do it personally, but you never know. Like I said, I was a bit underwhelmed with Picard season 1. I keep wanting to watch it again, because sometimes you watch it a second time, it might be better or even worse. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a whole new season to look forward to. So I hope that they do something right about that. Now, Martin, you wanted to talk about Justice League, didn't you? About how's that going?
As Tom, have you watched it?
I have.
What?
I've not seen it. I'm going to skip that one.
I can't get the bloody looks to it. No, Tom, I watched it. Well, it appeared on my screen magically, but that's all I can say. But when I watched it, it was a masterpiece. I mean, that original film was terrible. It was just the Joss Whedon version. You could have put down the toilet, but this, the 4-hour masterpiece of this, for me, it was like a dream come true. What did you think?
I enjoyed it very, because I'd popped in and watched like part of the Whedon one, and was just utterly confused and uninterested in it. And I was like, what the heck's going on here? But I like long, thoughtful, almost slow explorations of a world like that, and meeting characters and understanding where they're from. They did a really good job. I think Zack Snyder, his format is like long form 4-hour movies or things that would almost be mini-series concepts. So I thought it was really a step up from the Whedon. I mean, not even a step up from the Whedon version. The Whedon version's garbage. Everybody knows that. But
yes,
the original vision, seeing the original vision was really, really cool. And I didn't mind in some cases where you could tell the director was being a little indulgent. Scenes that probably didn't need to be as long or kind of lingering and such. But when you have the medium, it's okay to do what you want in it. So I really thought it was well done. I loved some of the earlier scenes when they first met Steppenwolf, and he's like attacking Wonder Woman's homeland. That stuff was awesome. That was just really cool.
Well, I have for me, with like the Batman Superman. Michael, I know you've seen. You're not a big fan of Batman versus Superman.
No, I never clicked with it. No.
But this is now. If you watch the 4-hour Justice League, that film suddenly becomes something else. It's part of a bigger trilogy.
That's very interesting.
Expands upon it.
Because the reason
I know
I can actually understand that, because now I'm getting into the Marvel films. Unfortunately, I've watched them in the wrong order. I wish I'd seen some of the Avengers films after seeing the standalone films, and I would have appreciated it more. But I can see, at least from the Marvel perspective, where you're coming from, that you get this background from these other films. It comes together and it affects other films. So
Yes.
I probably at some point, I'm still going through the Marvel films, but I can see now that they are, at least those films are very well done. And it's a whole universe in its own right. And the clever thing with those, at least, is that they've got the opportunity to make all these standalone films of high quality and enhances them. It actually makes them even better. And they were going to do this with the last Star Trek film. After Nemesis, they were going to do a similar trait with one more Next Generation film, where they were going to apparently bring the Next Generation with DS9 characters and Voyager characters. And it was going to be a kind of a compilation of all the crews together fighting some other thing. And of course, Nemesis flopped. And of course, I've only heard about this recently. That would have been a fascinating factor for me. I would have loved to have seen a crossover. I love crossovers. Stargate was great for crossovers as well. And I know that Tom hasn't seen Stargate yet, but that was another example of when you've got something which is big enough that you can have crossovers, and it just enhances the whole entity or the franchise.
The thing is with Next Gen and DS9, I think there were only about 2 crossovers, weren't there? They were very
There were
small.
a few There was Bashir appeared in Next Generation in Descent.
Yeah.
Right.
Not Descent, Timescape. Go
What
on.
I think is pretty cool about Marvel is that they don't treat their crossovers like almost like events. They just have people showing up in things like a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
And I think Star Trek has been very much like Kingdoms. Like it's a super special thing when someone shows up in one.
It's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but now they have the Star Trek essentially has a cinematic universe. So why not be a little looser with it? Have Julian Bashir show up for something and do something here and there. What happens with Marvel is they have so many characters, like WandaVision characters.
Yeah.
They had some from Thor, some from Ant-Man showed up there, and that was really neat. I mean, I guess it's really hard to talk about. We started talking about Justice League, but it's hard to talk about epics like this without talking about the MCU. But to say of Justice League on its own, how it stood on its own, it was wonderful and it was a vision, but it certainly was dark. I have to say that it is not. It's like sitting down to watch The Irishman. There's a difference between sitting down and watching Thor Ragnarok, which is a lovely film that you can enjoy and just have a laugh and just really soak it in, versus sitting down and watching, The Godfather or The Irishman or
it's a whole different level.
It is a commitment to a level of brooding that somebody may not casually want to do, because you're not going to leave Justice League, excited about continuing the rest of your evening. You're just going to want a long nap and a shot of whiskey. And that's I think the where the DC universe is it is a darker.
So the DC. So you're saying the DC universe is darker than the Marvel universe? Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, by all means it is.
Okay.
And less dynamic, it doesn't have. It's not fun. Like you watch a Marvel movie and it's colors everywhere and people. Stakes are high, but the characters.
Well, I don't know about the DC universe. I always thought the Marvel universe was going to be a bit more sort of childish, but it's not. It's very well written in the sci-fi fantasy sort of base background, and I think that at least like I said, I'm not so familiar with the DC characters yet. But from my perspective of Marvel, Martin has been trying to get me into Marvel since we started the podcast, and I now am into it quite a lot. I mean, one thing I like about Marvel is that often at the end of each film, you'll expect something at the end. They have this extra scene or even a couple of scenes. I've seen that in almost every film I've seen so far, that the credits are rolling, and then you'll see like a Captain America appeared at the end of one of the films I saw recently. Like, what? They're doing that. I love that. I just like that. You can sit there and the music, and it's they're really good productions. There's a lot of money thrown into them. And even when the credits are rolling, you can just think, something else is going to appear at the end. And most of them, at least in Marvel, they do. I don't know about DC, but I just like that.
Has anybody watched The Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until I've gone through the other. I'm going to, but I've got too much to watch. I've still got about 8 films to watch.
Well, I won't give you any spoilers. It's fantastic.
Okay, how about you, Tom? Without spoilers, do you like it?
I've
Is it good?
seen it. It is good. It is very slick, and it does
Okay.
some of the stuff that I was talking about, with like
Yeah.
having like random people from other things show up here and there. It's neat. I
Um,
like it a lot.
Well, maybe at this point, I think it was Tom. You were going to say about this. We're going to switch to the the Star Wars universe with some
Ooh,
information that you wanted to talk to
Yes,
us about.
yeah.
That.
Yeah, I'm looking
Yes.
forward to that.
yeah. Obi-Wan cast has been released.
Yes, and you. And I saw this the other day, and you sort of said you wanted. I mean, tell me about what you think. I mean, it's fascinating. Some of the people involved. Very exciting.
Who's involved?
Yeah, so we got Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen. So obviously he's going to be coming back as Darth Vader. So Darth Vader will have a role in this. Kumail Nanjiani. Do you guys know him? He's a comedian.
No.
He's
No.
he's a really funny guy. Just has.
Is he American? Is he American or English?
He's Indian American.
Okay.
Yep.
But I think he's an American. I think he's a an American guy. And he I think what they've done with a lot of these is they've infused comedians into a lot of these.
Well,
roles.
was it Bill Burr was the comedian who's in Mandalorian? And he's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Bill Burr was in
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
David Adewale was in the Mandalorian as well.
Yeah,
Um,
and they worked really well, and their respective characters were great, especially.
oh,
Bill Burr.
the woman who ran the junkyard is also a comedian.
Yes, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, she was good as well. She appeared a
Yeah,
couple of times.
she's fantastic. One of my favorites. I can't remember who she is, but I love her.
I mean, two of the characters or the actors involved with this casting, of course, I recognise them both as Owen and Aunt Beru from the Revenge of the Sith. The two actors are coming back, obviously a bit older. That was interesting because when I saw the cast list, Tom did show me, but I saw it as well the other day. And of course, I saw their faces as the actors, and I recognised them straight away. And I thought that's going to be good, that they're going to be involved. And of course, a direct.
Are we gonna see Luke Skywalker as a kid then?
I've
That's
heard
a
we
great
might
question.
do.
I was
I've heard we
about
might
to
do.
ask you
Yeah, I think we will. I think they'll have a child actor doing it. Obviously, I don't know how they're going to do it.
It's going to be interesting because like Vader's obsessed with him, isn't he? For years, he's wanted to find Kenobi.
No, I
And
have to,
how
I
they're
have
going to
to-
cross that over?
I wonder now because how does he not know where Luke is? And maybe there is a revelation that he actually does know where Luke is, and Obi-Wan is keeping him away from it or something like that. But
I don't know. I mean, I've heard the actor who plays Darth Maul might be involved with it as well at some point.
oof, that's another great question. The Darth Maul arc in
Yeah, I mean, I love that character.
Rebels
especially in,
was
yeah,
unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I think-
probably
He's running that criminal organisation, Black Sun, though, isn't he now?
was at the end of
Solo.
Solo, yeah. he
Solo,
was,
yeah.
Solo who he is in Rebels. He is floating around. I don't know if he's running that still, but in Rebels his demise happens at the hands of Obi-Wan on Tatooine.
Right.
And it's
Yes.
a crazy
Yeah.
scene. It's just like finally they come to blows, and it's actually very sad the way that he dies. But
Sure.
yeah.
It is because when I saw that scene when Kenobi holds him in his arms, and it's like I feel that's when you actually start feeling sorry for Mark. He's just been used and played since day one.
Yeah, he's
I
just a victim
I
of bad
felt
circumstances.
really sorry for him. He's not a bad person, really.
No.
He was just turned into this thing by some evil, the Emperor.
Yeah.
And he just, poor guy. I know he killed loads of people and that, but you get the background of his character, and he was just a kid who was taken, and all these despicable things happened to him when that Emperor trained him.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting way to look at it, but also sort of a I for a character like that, I give him maybe 60-40 with sympathy. Like there's 60% of me thinks, man, that guy was bad to the bone.
Not clean
regardless of what
cut.
happened
It's
to him.
not. Yeah. He's a sort of a complex character, so you can't sort of
Very
define him as
complex.
good or evil. He's somewhere in between.
Do you think Obi-Wan could take out Vader at that level? When he took them all out in like 3 moves? if he met Vader at that time, do you think he could have took Vader out?
I think he could have taken him out during the fight on the Death Star, but I think he chose not to. I think that he had reached a point where he felt he could be more powerful outside of his body. So.
I've heard first of all that they are starting filming of Kenobi in April, which is technically the 1st of April is when it's released tomorrow from recording on the 31st today. So I've also heard that the show might feature quite a few flashbacks to maybe the Revenge of the Sith era or something. Maybe they could de-age them or something. I mean, I don't know whether we want lots of flashbacks, because often flashbacks in a show can sometimes sort of like disjoint it a bit. Prime example was the War of the Worlds BBC version of about 2 or 3 years ago, which were flash forwards and completely messed up the whole film or the whole TV.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, would you two like to see lots of flashbacks, a bit more into the end of the Clone Wars kind of era, or do you want it to be mainly at the point that it's actually supposed to be?
I don't know. I think they've handled a lot of that in the cartoons, Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they filled in the gaps.
There's a lot there, isn't there?
Yeah, I agree about that.
But I don't think there's a way around there being references in that to sort of, and I think some of it would actually be happening in the same time frame as Clone Wars and Rebels.
Will the Hutts be featured in this as well? Because like the Hutts, that Jabba the Hutt, he'll have been running the planet at this time if Obi-Wan is watching over Luke. From the
because the Hutts technically should still be. Yeah, they should be running. Should be Jabba's palace, shouldn't they? So that should be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, at that point it would be. Yeah,
that
could
should
be interesting.
One other question about this: do you guys think that Obi-Wan is just going to be standing around on Tatooine, or do you think he'll be leaving? Because if he leaves, that means that Luke Skywalker is vulnerable. But if he sticks around,
I think it'd be a short. I think it'd be mainly on Tatooine. I think there'll be some part where he temporarily leaves. I don't know. What do you two think?
There could be contact with Yoda. He might have a mission or something. He might have to get something. I don't know. I can't see him leaving Tatooine, but yet again, I could see him doing it. But they'd have to be, because nobody knows his location. It's only Yoda that knows where he is.
What about someone like Ahsoka? Could Ahsoka be in it?
Possibly.
I've heard she could be in it. Actually, I've heard she's going to be
even if it's like
quite
a small crossover. Because I think this is going back to the Marvel thing, where they're going to have quite a few multiple crossovers to a degree, to enhance the whole of it, the whole Star Wars universe, which we've all discovered really helps, especially with Marvel, and to a lesser degree Star Trek and Stargate. So
it would make sense if she turned up, because she was still quite young.
She would be a bit more impressionable. Yeah, she would.
And maybe she's gone to him for guidance. She senses him or something. I don't know.
So it'd be in between seeing her in Rebels and the Clone Wars, obviously. So that could be quite interesting as well. I don't know.
So I think it could be thematically limiting and visually limiting if they kept it on Tatooine the whole time.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking
like no one's going to want to look at desert day in and day out for the entire series, and I think they probably
and speeder bike
shots and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean it's nice to a degree, but Star Wars often is about going from location to location. It's not normally a entity where it's too confined to one place. All the Star Wars that we've seen before, they do tend to move around relatively fast.
And I think that'll be a source of conflict for him if he needs to do something or needs to leave. Is he supposed to be there protecting Luke the whole time? I mean, if you think about it though, was he protecting Luke the whole time? I mean, was that his?
Well, from my perspective, he was in the background. He was kind of like looking out, but not really interacting anyway. So, what degree was he actually looking out and protecting Luke? Really, apart from
I think Luke had met him as a kid. Because possible. When he mentions
he does seem to know him
to his parents,
he does seem to know him.
They class him as this crazy old man that lives out in the dunes somewhere.
Yeah, so he's aware of him, but vaguely. He does know of him, but he doesn't know him that close. He just remembers him vaguely from his childhood.
Because I guess if you remember the original Star Wars, it was fairly easy for the stormtroopers to like go and destroy Luke's home. Like they,
Sure.
you know what I mean. So I wonder how that's going to be treated and really what Obi-Wan was there for. There may be. He may not be alone. There may be others that are kind of cycling in to protect and do other things. I think it could be potentially interesting. In that
Also,
sense.
maybe you don't know how much interaction the Empire has near Tatooine at this point.
But
I mean,
Tatooine's like a frontier world.
I was going to say, so it might be
Yeah.
sort of on the outer reaches where
Yeah.
the Empire doesn't have a major influence on aspects of what's going on. Maybe it's more the Hutts again. But then, of course, that's going to be followed up in the Boba Fett series. So I don't know, again, how they might introduce stuff in this which will continue into the Boba Fett series, for instance. You know, even though it's supposed to be Obi-Wan, they're quite clever. They are throwing stuff in, which can then, they've done this already with the animated series where certain elements have also bounced back in either some of the live action stuff or in the Rebel series. So, you know, it's quite, I think we're getting an idea of what they might do. You know, but Filoni and the people who are doing it, they do seem to really know their stuff. I'm quite optimistic about what they're going to do. I really am. I'm really looking forward to that.
As am I. As am I.
You right there, Martin?
Yes, I'm just thinking there's a bit of a surprise actually.
All right, what's that?
It's almost looks like we're getting the last Starfighter.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
we're getting it, yeah.
So
I've
is
seen
it going to be?
They've released some of the concepts art.
Is
yeah,
it going to be a
I think
remake
it's
or
happening.
is it a remake or continuation or what?
From what I would say, it could be a continuation, but it's set obviously. He's an admiral now of the Star League.
Right. Okay, that sounds good.
Very excited about this. If
The first one came out in mid-80s, wasn't it? Something like that. It was
yeah,
quite
yeah.
a long time ago. So yeah, bring it on. I mean, like I said, I'm always a bit nervous about when things come back, and sometimes they come up back very well. Other times they crash and burn. So, but yeah, bring it out. I don't believe this.
And Disney's
Go on.
Disney's. I think they're pulling Black Widow from the cinemas. It might be streaming now.
Is it?
Again,
What?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It's what I was reading yesterday, that Disney have pulled the Black Widow movie. It might not be going to the cinemas now. It might be streaming.
Oh wow.
So there you go. That's my news. It's done.
Brilliant.
But
Well,
what
I am,
a year of science fiction we've got, and I'm so excited.
yeah, I mean,
I
it's
hear
a very
this-
exciting time.
Godzilla is going to be playing on HBO Max right now. So I think I'm going to be watching that in the very near future, either tonight or tomorrow.
Is that out already?
It's on HBO.
Oh, we don't get that over here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, I'll might try and give that a watch. I don't mind Godzilla. I'm not, you know, I'll look at what people think about it first of all. I mean, I've seen the 90s Godzilla, and then there was the more recent one, and I thought they were both okay. I mean, I still remember Godzilla the cartoon with Godzuki. That's showing my age.
Oh God, yeah, I
Christ
don't remember. I
almighty,
used
you
to
know.
watch that.
I used to watch that on BBC, or BBC One. I think it was
Yep, yeah,
at
that was
5
the
o'clock
one,
in the
yeah.
afternoon or something, which is quite
Yeah.
cool. But I don't think I assume that Godzuki's not going to appear in this version of the Godzilla films.
I'm pretty psyched for it. I mean, it's clearly going to be a fun thing, and I'm going to give it a shot.
Nice.
I liked Skull Island, the one where it was sort of set in the Vietnam days. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yep. It's available.
Cool.
I can watch it right now through. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
not
Guys, I'm gonna
fair.
just
I mean,
fade off and,
if it magically appears on the screen.
You never know. You never know. I mean, it's the magic is out there, I think. Right, guys. Anything else for news?
No, that's it. That's me done. It's no more news.
Okay, brilliant. Well, let's go into our interesting focus of the week. Are you ready? Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi.
focus of the week.
Right, this week we are talking about an interesting show. By the way, Tom is now on video, so hello, Tom. We are talking about an interesting show which was made in the late 70s to early 80s. It is a show I loved when I was growing up as a kid. It was shown quite a lot over here on ITV. I don't know how big it was in Tom's part of the world. We'll find out in a minute. And I know Martin has seen some of it. It's going to be an interesting one. That was, of course, the 1978 Bill Bixby series of The Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk himself. I'm with some trepidation. First of all, I'm going to ask what Martin thought of The Incredible Hulk, and I'm just going to put my hands down because I'm scared of his opinion. Go on, Martin.
I've forgiven you. We've been doing this over a year now, and I have forgiven you. That is the first thing I'm going to say.
Okay.
I hate the bloody thing. I've watched it, all of it. I admit I did rent the movies out from the video library. That's how sad I am.
Right.
I rented them. And what it is, it's the end of each episode.
The music at the end is what you said before.
Stood on the road doing that.
Yes,
going
walking
off,
along for his next adventure.
And when you sent me that clip today,
that was great. That was a good Hulk. That was good. That was really
with
good.
a woman in bed, hulking out with a woman in bed.
Yeah,
I just fell off the
wife.
chair in stitches.
Oh no!
It was like he were wanging one off, and he got out, and he lost the plot. It was just, I mean, what I did was this clip I saw a few months when he's fighting that grizzly bear, and he throws it up in the air.
Right. Okay.
But there is a two-parter that does redeem it, where the NORAD captures him.
Yeah, that's
like
the episode where he's stuck in between. He's exposed to radiation, and he gets caught in this great big cylinder thing.
When he was in that clip today you sent me, why didn't his boxer shorts rip? His pajamas.
Well, they stretch, don't they?
Well, so I can buy a pair of jeans and they can just expand and just
it depends.
I'm sorry.
It depends what's going to be expanding at night, Martin. I mean, I don't know what you're saying.
And the scene where he when you sent me that clip ages ago, where he puts it on the washing line, and that has never left my mind.
You'll see on the graphic.
Never left my mind. I'm sorry, I hate that TV.
Out of trivia, this is the dollar bill that I used to actually hang up on the graphic. There's a washing line with a dollar bill hanging on it, and of course I know that Martin has always found this funny. But let's go back to Tom, and then I'll give my opinion. Tom, what did you encounter it?
When I was a kid, it was on. I never really understood the Incredible Hulk when I was a kid. I didn't get the idea of him being a monster, which was sort of also a good guy. Maybe it was my little kid mind, but I wasn't capable of that level of disconnecting of the characters. It was a little too ambiguous for me. I just didn't get them. And to me, it reminded me of other series that I felt that I didn't like a lot. Like, as Martin said, he's like kind of always walking down the road, like touched by an angel. It seemed like the same kind of like, journeyman loner guy, traveling from place to place. And to me, I just didn't understand it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was more into things like Battlestar Galactica and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know why, I always liked the idea that this character was afflicted with the situation. Yes, it was daft that every week he would end up in a different place. Obviously, he was moving around to avoid Mr. McGee, who was going to capture him or get him arrested. I think for me, why I liked it so much. First of all, I just thought Bill Bixby was a great actor in the role.
Yeah, he was.
I also think it is a show that has dated very badly. You watch it in 2021 than watching it in 1979 or something. I think that, especially when going back to the Marvel with the Marvel Hulk, and there was another Hulk in 2003 as well. I just responded well to the actor and the character, even though the concept was daft. It always reminded me a bit of some of these other shows, like Quantum Leap was another series with a character who was in a bad situation, trying to sort things out for other people, although he's got his own problem. I don't know why. I've always paralleled those two series. But then, of course, you could think of it as almost like a bit like The Littlest Hobo, which was a dog with a tragic situation every week. You know, there is a look at Martin's face; he's losing it. I don't know why, but when I started talking today, I suddenly thought of The Littlest Hobo with a "There's a voice that keeps on calling me," and it's the same sort of thing. So maybe I'm more critical now we're actually reviewing it than.
I don't hate it. I mean, I respect everybody that likes what they like.
Yeah,
For me, we used to get it on Yorkshire TV every Friday night about 8 o'clock. It was like big viewing when it went out.
Yes, it was big. That's what I'm saying. It was big.
It was massive.
I think it was Saturday
my
nights,
whole
wasn't
family watched it every week. But after 22 episodes, 8 of him, doon, walking down the road with his bag of clothes. Because I used to say to my dad, well, where does he get his money from? And how does he change his jeans? And my dad would go, shut up. Just accept it. I couldn't accept it. And then they were like, all that. And
so even though you sent me that
bloody clip today, you sent me that bloody clip today.
That was the best Hulk out. That was the best Hulk out.
Well, yes, I know. She was like,
Yeah, I remember the Hulk when he turned into the Hulk. Everything would slow down, and he'd be like,
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, he'd be like on top
eyes,
of a building, and maybe it was a lot of the filmmaking in the television production at the time was so one-dimensional in that sense, and flat in the way they did things that it's hard. It was hard back then to watch, and now
there is something worse than that. Have you seen the 1970s Spider-Man TV?
Yeah, you mentioned that. I've not seen that.
They were gonna team them both up. They were gonna team them up.
They did team up Thor in one of the TV movies.
Thor, Captain America, Spider-Man, and the Hulk of the 70s had,
and Doctor Strange as well. Doctor Strange.
They all had short-lived TV series, which were very bad.
Yeah, I've not heard about
them.
Very bad.
I've got them three Hulk movies on DVD. I saw the final one. It was really. I mean, that's another reason why. Yeah, no. I mean, he fell out of a bloody plane and landed.
But actually, at the end of this episode, I'm going to feature that clip because in the music when he's dying or falling out of the plane, Bill Bixby's singing with some woman at the end and I thought that might be in the end you hear it's Bill Bixby singing the song at the end.
But that poor man has been tormented all his life, running around
and he falls out of a plane which explodes.
In America. Yeah. Right, just going from. I mean, there's more of these little towns in America. I thought Britain were full of them, but in America there's loads of them. And he turns up, gets involved with the local corrupt sheriff or something corrupts in the town, and he does that.
That's pretty much, it's kind of the way it goes.
And he runs off, and then at the end of the episode, there's some woman going, well, you could stay with me, David. And he's like, no.
I've got to go.
We know what happens when he gets excited, don't we?
Exactly, yeah, especially as even nightmares.
You're right. Well, that format you're talking about, like somebody goes to some place, wanders somewhere, gets involved in local goings on, and then wanders away. That's basically that's the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I can see that. Again, it's quite standalone, which again, the Mandalorian, I like that. I like the standalone factor actually.
Yeah, it's a sort of wandering samurai.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that parallel, but you're right. That's a good point.
It's very much like that.
I mean, you are totally right, but to compare it to Mandalorian, I mean,
I'm comparing the
nature of the series. Yeah, the nature of the
story. I'm not saying it's Kane Kung Fu.
David Carradine. Yeah,
it's the same sort of guy going from Touched by an Angel. It's sort of that same thing, and in some cases it works very well.
And him as well, want the Michael Landon. Oh God, we used to get that on a Sunday. Highway to Heaven.
Highway to Heaven. Oh no.
We watched all the same stuff. What they were all watching in America, we were all watching it.
Yeah, but America, at least in America, they actually was spared some of the crap that we made. I mean,
War of the Worlds.
All the Worlds.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed by the Young Ones. Do you remember the Young Ones?
You love the Young Ones. Yeah, I love the Young Ones. I saw When I worked in Richmond at one time, I saw Adrian Everson, who played Eddie Hitler. I saw him, and he was.
Oh,
Did
wow.
you ever see Bottom, Tom? Did you ever
Yep.
see this? Right, and he
Yeah.
was there at the time. He was outside. He had the same glasses and same clothes on when Bottom was being made, and it was Eddie Hitler looking through our shop window. It was the most
Wow.
bizarre thing, and he
Wow.
was just like him. And it was like, well, it's Eddie Hitler outside, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
We were obsessed with the young ones in my grammar school. Obsessed.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's just such a cool
Completely
series.
obsessed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
I
when
mean,
we're 12-year-old kids.
Rick Mail
running
was so
around
good.
pretending- Oh,
I love
he
Rick
had
Mail.
such a quality to him that
Yeah.
you couldn't help. Like some comedians have that quality where you just look at their faces. They don't have to be saying anything,
No.
but they just make you want to laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's body language.
You
And
can feel
it's just
the
everything.
guy from Obi-Wan, Nanjami. He's like that. He's like the kind of guy you look at and be like, okay, I just want to. He's just a funny guy.
I think Bill Burr is a similar. I like him a lot as well. I never even heard of Bill
Yeah.
Burr until, and I think he's. I've been watching some of his stand-up routines, and he's hilarious.
Yeah,
You know,
he's pretty funny.
yeah.
He's got a show called F is for Family. It's an animated show
All right.
about him growing up. It's very funny, very like it goes into those very disturbing areas of what growing up can be like if your dad maybe has a
Sure.
drinking problem or something. So it's a good show. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, let's finish off the Incredible Hulk. Any episodes that either of you remembered and liked before we sort of round off this series in general?
I remember always wanting, like, being frustrated by him not like going back to the lab, like where he started. They have like the first premiere where he becomes the Hulk, or they show that or something, and never goes back there.
No.
I remember one where I don't know, he was on like a hijack plane was going on, and he turned into a Hulk on a plane.
747. That episode was called 747. Yeah, I know the episode.
Like
Season one.
that could be a fever dream I had, or something I don't remember. But I remember that one. That was.
I think my favourite two-parter was the episode called The First, where we meet another Hulk.
I remember that.
that was brilliant.
With white hair.
No, he's not. Well, no, he's like a Hulk. He's got dark hair, but he's a bit sort of more gangly. And in this episode, he does get the cure for the gamma radiation, and in the end, he has a fight with the other Hulk, and the cure gets destroyed, and he starts crying, and then he changes. And I just thought that was really shows just how tragic the character was. And then, of course, as I say, we just round off. We did obviously finish with the TV movies. One which featured Thor, which wasn't very good. There's a second one I can't remember, and the last one where, as we've already said, the Hulk does die. Apparently, he was going to come back with a fourth movie, but unfortunately, Bill Bixby was ill at that point, and they didn't make any more. So,
in its I mean, I can't knock it. It had 4 movies, and it ran 5 years. I mean, it did the full. And it went
did,
into
yeah, it did go a long way. It did go a long
It
way.
did. I'm not knocking it on that. And I think Bill Bixby's an amazing actor. I loved him in The Magician. But while that series finished, because I rented the movies out, because obviously I want to see Daredevil, and it was terrible. But there was something about it where it was just cheesy and you liked it.
Yeah.
But the final episode, when he died, I thought, oh, come on, can't they at least give him a cure and let him go off with a woman at the end and be happy? I mean, because the bloody music kicked in again.
And for the last time.
Piano theme, and he's dead on the tarmac. And I were like, oh,
were you crying?
Give this guy a break. Give him a break. I'm sorry. Even when he bloody finished,
he panned up. It was like a helicopter shot, and he was like, you saw him on the actual runway with the cracks around where he's hit the ground.
Yeah.
We need to
And
send
that
Martin to
big
defibrillator.
piano
Okay,
concerto to it, doom, 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 doom. And I was like, he could have cured it and got himself a nice lady and gone and lived happily in a town.
No, but that makes it more tragic. He said, I am free, and he went dun 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 dun, and he died. And that girl, that brunette's arms, and even though she was about 25, he was about 55 at the time.
Hey, can we finish up by the last couple of decades? There have been several Hulk movies that came out.
Yes,
There was,
yes,
sure.
yeah.
Mark Ruffalo, Ed Norton, and was there another one?
Yeah, there was. It was directed by that Chinese director. There was one in Banner. Banner was in it. The actor Eric Banner.
Banner. Yep.
Yeah.
Eric Banner.
Now. Yeah, that was terrible.
Eric Bana. Yeah, there've been 3 Hulks in recent times, in the last 15 years or so. There was Eric Bana.
Well, I've seen the Marvel one, and I saw the one before that. I've not seen 3. I've seen 2. I've seen the Marvel one, and there's the one before that. But I didn't know I don't know if it's in there. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that came out like 2002. I think.
Yeah, I think that's the one I've seen. But I mean, so 2002, and then the one was 2008.
The trailer was he's looking in the mirror. Is Eric Banner, the actor, and the Hulk's fist hands punched out of the mirror.
And you didn't like that one, right?
No, well, it was terrible. And I mean, the one with Ed Norton was all right. They tried to go TV series.
What about the Marvel, the current Marvel version? It was obviously
superb.
The current one, I like them. What was interesting about the last Avenger movies was seeing the Hulk balanced, like he was.
Yes, he was half and half. He was like Smart Hulk.
Yes. Which I was very surprised by to see that.
You sort of learned to sort of control it to a point. I thought that was very. I like the way they made him bigger, but still more recognizable as more human and not. That was clever. Like again, it was a very clever idea. I think that's
in the comics, really confusing. But the Hulk is his inner child.
Oh,
that's in the comics, but there's different aspects. The Hulk is the Hulk. The thing is, it's actually him, but it's the child inside because his father was a monster. It was right.
Didn't I also hear that there's an upcoming Marvel project which is a She-Hulk or something, a female Hulk?
Yes, they're filming it. I think they're filming it now.
So that might be
interesting.
They've
showed the actress who's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I might watch that. Like I said, I will definitely check out Marvel.
That'll be popular when she's transformed. I do her knickers rip off when she's like, I bet the stretch and a dress. I bet there's do you know what I mean? She's got a dress on.
Well, they'll probably do that. They'll probably make some XXX version, and it'll work. It would be that it doesn't actually stretch or something. Like that.
And a chest will be like.
Are you getting excited, Martin, already? Look, he's looking forward to it already.
Well, I am, yeah, but as long as they don't play that bloody music at the end of each episode.
Well, listen, guys, I think that we've covered the Hulk quite well. Thank you for your perspectives. I certainly thought it was worth a review. And I think we're going to end with, like I said, the death scene, but it also involves the music, and Bill Bixby apparently is singing this end song as it's going to be the scene where he flies out of the aeroplane, it explodes, and he crashes down, and I just thought it'd be good. So for next week, guys, anything that you fancy talking about? I think we should do another Doctor Who at some point as well.
Yeah, I'd like to do. I don't know if you're up for this. For me, whenever, I'd like to cover the 1960s Mission Impossible.
What? Oh, I've not. I know Leonard Nimoy's in it, and so is Martin Landau.
It's ruthless, is that series?
We
set
could
their
review
victims up.
I tell you what, we will do it, but I'll need. Can you give me a bit of time to at least watch a few episodes?
Whenever you want. Well, if you want to do Doctor Who next week.
I mean,
we could talk. We could talk Godzilla next week. And you guys might, if you can, get a hold of it somehow.
Sure. Well, yeah. We could do a. I mean, I think let's do a Doctor Who next week.
Which Doctor do you want?
Should we do? I think. What about Dave Tennant, 10th Doctor?
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
We haven't done many new Who's. I mean, I know that Tom was with when we did Matt Smith, but
we did Matt Smith. Yeah,
we did Matt Smith.
Yeah,
is that right with you? Okay, guys. Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Well, let's leave it. Like I said, Incredible Hulk. This sort of strange ending. This has been a fun one. I've been really enjoyed this. Actually.
Why are you doing this to me? Why?
I've been saying to Martin, Tom, for about the last year we're going to do Incredible Hulk, and he's managed to avoid it and sort of put me on a tangent around it and avoid it, and suddenly I've sort of knocked the hammer back in today, and yes, it's done, Martin. We're done. Thank you, guys. We'll catch you next week on the Solar One.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you very much.
See you. Bye, fellas.
Here